Welcome everybody to our next energy update here for the week of August 22nd through to the 29th. My name is Rebecca, and if this is your first time joining me, welcome and thank you for tuning in. These energy updates I create every single week, usually on Sundays or Mondays, for the collective, a beautiful group reading, and I just tune into the energies and themes that we are going to be going into this week. I channel my guides and their messages for us moving forward to hopefully give all of you a little heads up of what's to come and help you really take advantage of the themes and energies of the week ahead. So for this week, we have some really beautiful themes, as always, and we have some really fun ones that I want to explore with you today. So our first one is family ties, joy and experience, breaking cycles of despair, release work, contemplation, examination of the facts, guidance from higher forces, humble submission, ease and flow, all is well, water and grounding, setting new intentions, belief in your dreams, humanitarianism, and being calm, full acceptance of all of you. So we have some beautiful themes, and very predominantly I've been feeling this very strong energy of healing this past week and moving into this week. We definitely have this beautiful theme of where we're really allowing ourselves to truly transform and rebirth ourselves into who we consciously want to be now. And I'm seeing this very strong coming through in our family, in our connections, in really every single area of our lives this week. And we're really being called to really tune into radical acceptance. And I think this is what we are all truly learning as we move through and we navigate through these new things, these new times, these new goals, whatever this might be for you, but it's really enjoying the earthly experience and truly coming into that place where we can accept who we are, even the parts of us that perhaps we don't necessarily embrace. We are being really strongly encouraged this week to do so. And this is really coming up strong in this theme of family ties this week, of really tuning into the joys, truly going into the experience, to breaking these cycles. And what I was strongly getting was predominantly a lot of ancestral wounds coming up for healing this week. So I feel like a lot of us may be taking vacations this week or kind of stepping out of our regular routines, and please take what resonates here. But if that applies for some of you, to really seize those opportunities to really enjoy your time with your loved ones. And I'm seeing this energy of where a lot of us might have been holding on to the past, and when we get together with people we love, or when we get to associate with our close relatives and loved ones, sometimes a lot of us are reminded of the past. A lot of us are shown different triggers and areas that perhaps we haven't been thrilled about in our family lives in the past. And I'm just seeing this shift occur this week where we're no longer really resonating with that. We're trying to break this cycle of tuning into what's missing, what hasn't been fulfilling in our family lives, and we're changing the story. And what I'm really getting is we're breaking this cycle of despair, is what I wrote. So a lot of us, we might have been harboring those hurts. We might have been holding on to even perhaps grudges or little things that bother us when we're around the people we love, like our family units. But this week I'm really seeing this shift, and we're choosing joy. We're choosing to embrace new experiences, to recreate that narrative and go, okay, the past is done and I'm ready to let it go, to create new in my life, to create new experiences with the ones I love, to forgive, to move forward. And I'm seeing us really make this dedication to self of acceptance of the past, acceptance of who we are and who others others are in our lives, and allowing ourselves to break that cycle of allowing the past to hurt us, allowing others in our lives to perhaps hold that power. And we now are taking the driver's seat to let go of these old paradigms to create the new. So we're seeing whatever this might look like for you, whether, family comes up predominantly for you, whether it's friendships, whether it's just the past in general. Please take what resonates here, because this is a general read. But I was strongly getting the theme of family, so close people that perhaps we need to do a bit of healing work with. And I'm seeing this total acceptance come in, and this real renewal, this rebirth happening where we're no longer tied to what came prior. We are brand new while walking into this new cycle. So it's really, really beautiful. With this, I'm seeing us really heal these family wounds. I'm seeing us heal even ancestral lineage with this, as well as perhaps some past life issues. So this is really coming up strong this week, as well as a theme of karmic energy. So radically transforming this, radically healing a lot of these things. And I'm seeing this happen quite swiftly. So for a lot of you, if you've been feeling like these weird emotions or fears that you just haven't been able to really pinpoint why you have this irrational fear or hurt or constant repetitive cycle, I'm seeing this really tie in strongly with family lineage, as well as past life and karmic energies. So don't be surprised if this presents this week. So be very mindful of your dreams, be very mindful of your meditations. And I'm really strongly getting visuals here. So if any of you meditate and you start seeing visuals of something, to pay close attention to that, because that is truly your guides showing you perhaps this karmic energy, perhaps what has happened in the past, and really being mindful of that clairvoyance this week, because I'm seeing that be a very large theme. So be mindful of any of those things that come up this week, because I'm hearing our guides are really strongly communicating that way. So with that, I'm also getting the strong message to cut the cords. So if any of you do have this karmic energy, or you have these wounds, these hurts that present this week with family, or whatever that story is for you, remember, when you work through those emotions, when you work with feeling how you feel, to truly let go by cutting those cords. So letting go of any sort of unhealthy energies of attachments to the situation, to the energy itself, to truly clear it from your energy fields. And I'm seeing this as a strong reminder this week. Cut those cords to anything that's ready to be fully released. So to do that, ask Archangel Michael to clear any of those old attachments to fear, anything that's stemming from the past, to free you from those destructive patterns this week, because his presence is very strong to help you remove this negativity. So really beautiful. I'm seeing overall a lot of healing, a lot of liberation and freedom, a lot of cycle breaking this week, and it feels so good. So going through this energy, we are truly going into this liberation. So absolutely beautiful. So then we have this element of release work. So going into that theme as well this week. So we're truly going to be overcoming some fears. We're going to be breaking those repetitive patterns. And what was really interesting is I actually really strongly heard repetitive patterns around being alone, which is very interesting. So I'm seeing a couple belief systems rear their heads here for a lot of us. So for some of us, we might have that story that I'm always alone. I don't have help. I can't ask for help. That might be one. I have this energy of fear of being alone, this energy, this belief system of I need to be alone. So really getting familiar with this pattern this week and really being mindful, what do I truly believe about my solidarity? Do I have any of these limiting beliefs that cut me off from truly experiencing beautiful friendships, from real connections this week? And how can we change that? Because once again, I'm seeing a lot of us gathering together this week, being with people, perhaps with friends. So really be mindful and tune into how you're actually feeling and where we're holding on to these old stories that we truly want to shift and change, because I'm seeing seeing this overall harmony that wants to come in this week. So how can we harmonize our relationships? How can we bring peace? How can we wrap up loose ends? And I'm seeing some of us really put to bed these quarrels or tiffs, or I'm not saying anything too serious here, so it might have just been like little things that have bothered you. I'm seeing a lot of us just kind of let go of those things and for release. And with that, overcoming any fears of vulnerability. That's definitely presenting here as well. So where are we feeling afraid of being vulnerable with others? Where are we still holding on to a pattern of distrust of others? Do we really believe others are going to be there for us? And really being mindful of that. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, lots coming up in the throat here. So I do feel like we're going to be really clearing these old stories and having the mindfulness and awareness that this is coming up for healing. So if you get triggered, if you start examining these things coming up, these thoughts, these patterns, recognize that you have the choice and the power to choose different this week. How do you want to choose to move forward now? Do you want to continue with these old belief systems, or do you want to choose new? Do you want to believe in togetherness? Do you want to believe in harmony? How can you restore peace within your side of the street, on your side of the street this week? How can you clear that mess or that hurt or those old resentments that have been, as to say, laying around on your front lawn? How can you clear that space to create new, to create beauty again? So really coming over these fears and moving forward with confidence. That was really strongly coming through as well. I love this so much. So remembering you are never alone. We have a choice to call in friendships and to break these cycles and patterns. So very powerful. The next theme we have was contemplation. And what was really coming up this week was going into those deeper thoughts, like what is the true meaning of life? Am I living life to the fullest? And where is change required? And I'm seeing a lot of us really go deeper into this introspective period. So similar to last week, this is a very strong theme, and I feel like this is carrying on. We're really being called to go in deep within ourselves, to go in and ask those important questions to get the clarity that resonates for us. So once again, I'm seeing a lot of us kind of get distracted with other people's opinions on things. I'm seeing us search outside of ourselves for answers. And I'm getting this guidance that we really need to course correct with that, because we're not going to find the answers outside of us. So how can we go within? How can we get our own clarity and finding the methods that work for you to become more centered and more in tune with the higher wisdom of your own soul? Because this relationship with self is really wanting to be built this week, and I'm really seeing us needing to take full advantage of this. How can you trust yourself more? How can you create healthy patterns that help you search within yourself and get your own clarity, and trusting the answers that resonate within your soul and not second guessing? Because once again, I'm seeing a lot of us talk ourselves out of the guidance we receive. I'm seeing a lot of us wanting to get busy and distract ourselves from truly getting our clarity because of fears. And this energy this week is really coming through of groundedness. So really becoming centered, really practicing and putting forth the mindfulness in how we are reacting, how we are gaining information, and if it's from the reliable source that truly resonates. Okay, this is very, very strongly coming through. So what is the meaning of life for you? Are you living life to your fullest potential? And what does that look like for you as an individual, as your spirit, as your soul? How does your soul want to live? How do you want to experience life? And really removing the stories that say you can't, removing the stories that others have told you that you should live life this way, that you have to live life this way. How can you change that narrative to one that resonates with you as a soul, with you you personally. And I'm seeing this clarity really wanting to come through, and it's going to hit. That's what I'm really getting. It's going to like land, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, wow, have I ever been deviating from my path? Or I have been perhaps living life for other people or according to these narratives that don't resonate. And I'm seeing, instead of us getting upset over that, we're excited, because it's like, oh my gosh, I'm excited now because I'm free. I'm seeing this clarity now. I'm seeing what my soul wants to do here on earth. I'm seeing how I can choose to live life. And it's this beautiful childlike enthusiasm that I'm seeing rise. And with this, the birth of creativity comes. And I'm really seeing us needing to deep dive into it. So creative solutions, getting creative in whatever works for you. So I'm seeing a lot of this clarity come through, and they're showing me children dancing with glee and creating and painting and getting artistic and really coming up with that creativity and getting in touch with that sacral chakra and really living life in that blissful childlike way. And we're no longer getting bogged down with the details, the unnecessary worry. So don't worry. Okay, this week we're really getting that strong message. Don't worry, it's unnecessary. You do not need to worry about your next steps. Focus on what you want. Focus on what you want to create. Focus on who you are and how you want to live life, and really capitalize on this. And with that, I'm seeing this tie into the release work, because we're now releasing the stories that say, oh, I need to have this, or I must know the answers. We're coming to this element of surrender and confidence in self, where we're truly putting on those rose-colored glasses and going for what we truthfully want, what truthfully resonates within our souls, without getting bogged down in the worry and those details. Okay, but with that, we next go into this theme of examining the facts. So once we get this full information, once we get this download of creativity, what we want to bring in, then we're going to move into the logical side. So once again, this energy is coming through from a freedom standpoint. And what I mean from that is freedom from the old narratives, freedom from the old ways of doing things. So what I'm getting is we're going to be looking at things logically, but this is the guidance. We want to look at our dreams logically as well, but we're doing this due diligence and care, where we're recognizing, okay, to bring forth this vision, this dream, I'm not going to worry unnecessarily. I'm not going to obsess. I'm not going to get possessive of this new dream, this newfound clarity of how I want to live life. But I'm going to approach it with a way where I can make an accurate plan, where I can make an action plan to get there. And I'm seeing us go with this logical approach, and the guidance here is to do that due diligence, because regardless of how we feel and that creative spark and that willingness to move forward, we have to get that strong foundation, because we do live in an earthly world. We are human. We have an earthly experience. So it's like allowing that groundedness to come in with it, not to the point where we're once again obsessing, fragmenting ourselves, worrying how we're going to do it. We're not going to go there. We're going to apply this newfound energy of logic, due diligence, and care, because we want to nurture our dreams and we want to have them come to fruition. So I'm seeing a lot of us create this plan of action with balance, logic, and intuition. So with this, we're seeing this harmonizing energy come in again. So how can I trust my intuition and go on my intuition, but also trust the logic that has been instilled in me? And we're seeing this harmony between the logic and the intuition this week, the head and the heart, coming into this harmonizing process and moving forward in a strategic way that's coming from the heart space. And that is truly going to be the difference between how we have approached things in the past, perhaps all from intuition or perhaps all from logic. We're seeing the balance come in. How can I actively create the life I desire to live? How can I make those small steps without worrying, without, struggling and striving, but doing so in a logical way that makes sense? So I'm hoping this all is resonating. It's very cool. So we have this question to ask ourselves. How are we wanting to step up and lead? How can we build the confidence to take those steps? And how can we surrender the outcomes? So with this, we now have the theme of guidance from higher forces, okay? So I'm seeing some of us perhaps getting carried away with the worry, and this is definitely a message of unnecessary worries. Release the burden, give them to God for healing and solutions, and that's where I'm really getting this energy of guidance coming in from higher forces. So recognizing you're not alone in doing this. You are never alone. And we had this beautiful message of connecting with the stars. So I really was getting this strong message that spirit specifically, so our loved ones on the other side, our ancestors are specifically very close by at this time. I just keep getting like the veil is thin. There's this beautiful energy of those loved ones specifically coming through to help you. And so being mindful of that, look to the stars when you're feeling confused. Look to your guidance, your guides, your ancestors, your loved ones for direction, and surrender any worries and the outcome, because I'm hearing a lot of us are going to be getting that divine inspiration this week to help us really put forth the courage and confidence to live our life purpose, to really create that potential and follow through on this potential. And with this, I'm really strongly getting the energy of abundance and success. So keep going, my friends. Don't give up. So our next theme here is humble submission. So this was very interesting. When this came up, I thought, oh, this is a very interesting theme. Like, it just kind of caught me off guard, to be honest. And what was very interesting is when I hit this theme, I immediately wanted to be emotional. I immediately wanted to cry. And it was very interesting as the messages came through. And it was this freedom of shame, this freedom of believing that being human is wrong, or believing that we ourselves are imperfect, or not being able to meet that standard of perfection that a lot of us attain or try to attain in life. And what I really got was this humble submission to earthly life. And with this, I feel like a lot of us, we've had this narrative that we need to be perfect, that we're never enough. And we see this time and time again through our earthly experience, through the programs, through the narratives that we're constantly bombarded with in society, how we grew up, through religious organizations, the works, that it's not okay to be a human being, that it's not okay to be imperfect, to not do what we've been told we need to do. And what I'm really getting is this freedom. And with that, we're becoming humble because we're embracing our earthly experience on its terms. So we're no longer trying to control life, and we're submitting to the life that we've signed up to live. And that's what I'm really getting. And a lot of us can buck that word submission. And let me tell you, when I first heard that, I thought, I don't like that word. But it was very interesting because it was like, no, humbly submit to your earthly experience, because that is who you're here to be. You are here to be a human being. You're not here to be a soul, wrong word, but you're not here to stay in that perfective state. If we were, then we would still be up in the heavens. We would still be a soul, not on earth. And that's what I really was getting with this theme, is really embracing humanness. So what I wrote down was embrace the humanness and inability to be perfect. And with that, really coming to this full self-acceptance, releasing frustration of living up to the impossible standard. So this was a very beautiful theme because it's helping once again free us. It's helping us liberate ourselves of shame, of not being enough, of not completing XYZ on this specific timeline, whatever the story may be for you. And it's really allowing ourselves to just truly submit to who we are now in full radical acceptance of that. And I'm seeing us cleanse and detoxify with this. We're releasing literal toxic belief systems, and we're embracing all parts of us. So with this choice to be human, this conscious choice to live our authentic experience and embrace all of who we are. And it was really interesting. I even got the theme of natural beauty. So for some of us, we might have been told, oh, you need to dress this way or act this way or wear makeup or do this. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what makes you feel good. But I'm seeing some of us actually move away from that, getting comfortable in the skin we're in, embracing who we are naked. And that's kind of what I was hearing, like naked, bare skinned, bare faced, putting our true selves forward and embracing that, releasing the stories that we're not beautiful, releasing the stories that we have to be this in order to have acceptance. And I'm just seeing a lot of us clear these stories and truly embrace who we are now. It's really, really beautiful. So radical acceptance, a very strong theme this week. So then we have this theme of ease and flow. And so what I wrote was abundance is near. Keep strong in your faith and don't give up or give into fear. So once more, we're getting this strong theme of finances this week. I was definitely seeing a lot of money fears coming up, and we're really needing to go into that this week. So recognizing where we have money fear, where we have old resentments with money, where we have belief systems that have been instilled in us that truly aren't ours anymore. And so whatever those stories are for you, I'm hearing get the clarity you need around money, around finances, and if they're matching your dreams, right? So how is your relationship with money? How can it affect your current situation? Do you believe you're worthy? Do you believe you're capable? Do you trust money? And does money trust you? Okay, so money, once again, we have to have this understanding, is an energy. It ebbs and it flows. You are worthy of it, and it's your responsibility to heal your relationship with money as part of your waking up. Okay, so with this, it was really interesting. I got this message of reawakening. So where do we need to wake up with these belief systems? Where do we need to start taking ownership and control of our situations and unhealthy patterns with money, and allowing ourselves to wake up to all of us and our purpose? And actually, I'm seeing this really, once again, tie in with acceptance of self. Are we accepting who we are? Are we accepting we're deserving? Are we accepting the beauty of ourselves, or are we undercutting ourselves in any way? So if so, why? And how can you course correct? And if we're truly not respecting ourselves, if we're not able to rely on ourselves in this area of life, how can we shift this? How can we create security and a firm foundation so we can take the next steps in our dreams? So once again, coming back to the drawing board, creating that action plan, applying logic without beating ourselves up for whatever our situation might be, and deep diving into those belief systems. Okay, so where do we need to upgrade those beliefs? How can we create the results we want? And writing out that money story so things can truly shift, okay? Creating a new and fresh chapter. So once again, this rebirth experience, this is really coming up strong, okay? So don't give up into those fears. Don't give up on your dreams, even if your money situation might be, not where it needs to be right now. I'm really getting the guidance to what steps can you do? What steps can you take? How can we plan properly and apply that logic to the situation so we can have the outcomes we want. And to trust you're on the right path. I was really strongly getting that. You're on the right path, my friends. So even if you feel overwhelmed, trust your path. So then we have this energy of all is well, okay? So newfound appreciation for life, coming into an abundance mindset, okay? So I really was strongly getting this, how can we really appreciate the life we have, even if things aren't going according to plan? How can we allow ourselves to follow the voice of our soul, to choose what we consciously want to believe now, and allow ourselves to see that regardless of whatever we're experiencing, we have an opportunity to grow and to choose positivity. All right, so this beautiful energy of seeing love, seeing only with eyes of love, seeing that no matter what we're experiencing, we can move through it with confidence, with strength, and know that all is well, okay? Really was strongly getting that. Finding that what we can appreciate each day in life. And that was kind of a small recommendation here for a daily action. What can you have gratitude for right now? How can you shift the mindset from one of lack to I have? And with this shift, confidence begins to come, surrender begins to come, and we begin to truly focus on the here and now. And that was the strong guidance, is if we get bogged down in the details, or if we start to worry or obsess, how can you change that program and come to gratitude? And they really were saying, focus on what you can be grateful for in each moment, because that will change the story. That will then show up for yourself. That will be you taking the driver's seat and empowering yourself and going, no, worry is not going to help me right now. I'm going to choose to be grateful for any experience I'm currently in. And you begin to shift the energy, shift the vibration, which in turn is going to attract more of what you can be grateful for to you. And with this, we had this own theme of water and grounding. Okay, now this is very interesting. So they kept showing me water, which when we think of water, it's that ebb and flow. It's that cleansing and detoxification, that purification that takes place when we're in the water. And that's very much that symbol of water. And that's what I was really strongly getting, is if you can be by water this week, go and be by the water. Allow yourself to be in it, to soak in it, to shower, take a bath, whatever you can do to embrace the elements of water, to do so. And I'm hearing this will be super grounding for a lot of us, especially if you're a water sign. You need that water this week. Nature is very highlighted, so connecting with earth energy so you can center and ground yourself to really gain the clarity you need on your next steps. And what I got from this is we begin to see all things with love, joy, and abundance. So with that, I'm hearing we will now then begin to set new intentions. So we have a new moon coming up this week. And so with that, what do you want to bring in? Get that clarity, create that intention, put it out to the universe. This is what I want. And what was really coming through was believing in your dreams and focusing on how you can help. So that energy of service was really coming in. So once again, I'm hearing that mantra, if you get nervous, focus on service. So setting those intentions, how can I pursue my life purpose? How can I help others in this world? How can I become that humanitarian that I want to be? Whatever that story is for you, and truly bringing in that belief in self and recognizing our unparalleled strength. Okay. And what I really strongly heard was we've all come through so much. We've all gone through hardships in life, and it's all been for a reason. And what I strongly got was, now is the time to heal and embrace this next chapter in our lives and set those intentions for new, to consciously choose new. We are ending this chapter of suffering. We are choosing to be happy. We are choosing to be confident. We are choosing to trust ourselves and the universe. And this really comes into this element of being calm. So I really heard that, be calm. Come to an area of peace, because when we trust and surrender our outcomes to the highest good, when we surrender to the universe, trusting that it is going to take care of us, we can be at this area of peace. We can choose to truly accept where we are, find that groundedness, embrace all of who we are in each moment, and truly begin to choose that peace and joy and letting it flow through. So truly a beautiful week this week that we have. Really strong guidance to keep choosing ourselves, to really embrace that radical acceptance in every single moment, to embrace joy, to embrace an abundance mindset, to speak up where we need to speak up, to say what we need to say. And this was a strong theme as well, coming into this element of assertiveness with our dreams, coming into this assertiveness when it comes to our healing and acceptance of self. So as a side note, saying what we need to say as well is coming up here. So really being mindful of, what do you now want to say to the universe? What do you now want to say to the world? What would your voice like to speak? Is there a way you need to announce who you've become now? Is there a way we need to let others know this new approach that we are taking, so we can make those course corrections, so we can create the environment of love, of joy, of our own personal uniqueness, and truly embracing what we need to embrace so we can come to this element of true acceptance and peace in self. So truly beautiful themes. To end, let's pull us a final card and let's see what comes up. Okay, so I love this. We have a boundaries card. So it says, like a little umbrella or shield, the yarrow plant, which is what I pulled for us, it's a picture of a yarrow plant, offers protection from negative energies or toxic influences. She helps you to build strong, healthy boundaries and compassionate awareness of self and others, and to avoid unnecessary energy leaks and general depletion as you evolve and grow. I love that so much. So, really goes into, where do we need to speak up? Where do we perhaps need to be assertive with our boundaries? And how can we create those boundaries that keep us safe from negative energies, from toxic belief systems, even within our own minds? Where do we need that good self-talk and shut down the negative thoughts or repetitive thoughts that we might have that are depleting us, that are making us feel not good enough? And really putting in place those strong boundaries to help us build that compassionate awareness. And really moving forward in this element of compassion for self. That's really coming through here. So giving yourself that kindness, giving yourself that care, giving yourself compassion in your human experience. So really beautiful final message. So my friends, don't forget the unlimited potential you have. Keep believing in your dreams. Keep taking forward action. Give yourself that care and love you need, that kindness you need, and remember to have those healthy boundaries this week, to cut off those cords that are zapping your energy, and to keep healing. You are healing, my friends. So don't forget how amazing you're doing. You are on the right path. Keep going. So I'm sending you all the love in the world. I really hope you enjoyed your reading for this week. And if you did, let me know. Sending you all the love. Have a beautiful and blessed week. Bye-bye.